Money was tight in my family growing up. Both my parents worked. Not having enough and arguments about money were frequent talks around the house. When I was 17, they divorced, partially over money problems. Back in 2015, I was writing my book and developing software that went with it. As I was building that, I kept getting frustrated because I wanted something unique for cash flow. One night, I was sitting in my office chair, frustrated that yet again another client had fallen off their budget plan. I started thinking, if only there was a way to make a budget that couldn't be bypassed. A way to combine the bank and the budget, just like cash envelopes. What was it that made cash envelopes so powerful? The cash? The envelopes? No. And then it came to me all at once. It was the purchase. The system had to be used before the purchase. But how? I took my friend Richard Holden to lunch. After about 3 hours, we emerged with a yellow pad full of notes and a lot of possibilities. Presenting at Finovate was really fun. It was so professional and we were there among the really big names. But where we really found our niche was at FinCon. This was our people. Our launch was January of 2017. Our momentum had been building perfectly and users were flocking to the system. Then on a Friday, I received a call that changed everything. Ryan, I don't know how to tell you this, but we're being closed down and you won't be able to send out new cards next week. That was the news from our processing partner, but moving quickly, I connected us with a friend who ran a gift card program, but I knew they didn't have the tech for us to scale with. My biggest focus was that I had to prove that the system worked and it could scale, but in order to do that, we had to run the system. After 4 months, we got the system migrated and it was working. To feed my family during this time, I had connected to an old friend, Shane Walker.
Ryan and I met when we were in college. We both started financial coaching companies. I remember the day when he came to me and he's like, Shane, 50% of the people that we are meeting with are struggling paycheck to paycheck and are laden with debt. You need to understand what Qube Money is. And as he explained the concept of digital cash envelope banking, I got chills all over. And I told him, Ryan, this is going to change the world. And we both knew it comes down to spending. When people spend in line with what their true purpose for money is and stay within their means, they can experience real joy. You had been like hitting this like night and day with the developers, remember that?
Yes.
And then we're like, you need to take a break and go to Mexico with your family. Right after you left, there began to be extremely difficult ledgering issues.
Couldn't scale, couldn't do anything, couldn't run the program.
The great thing was that like 2 or 3 months earlier, Galileo had connected with us, right?
Right. And I presented to him and showed him, here's where we're at, here's the numbers. The original idea was to just migrate the system, but with all the problems, but also knowing that Galileo was in our back pocket, and we could go over there.
And the other thing that was going on here is we had utilized the raise that we did the year before and things were close. So we were out of money. The app we had to close it down, but we had all of these users that were so passionate about this concept of digital cash envelopes. And just like I talked about before, their spending and their purpose were aligning and they were seeing real joy with money for the first times in their lives. So anyways, they're like, you guys have got to keep this going.
And it really was the community. I mean,
totally.
Because I remember you and I were talking and we were trying to figure out, well, how do we get this going again? I mean, we're excited about all the progress we've made, but you gotta have money. You gotta have money to develop this, and it's so expensive, it takes so much time, but we made the decision. We made a lot of decisions based on us believing that money was gonna come in, and we moved forward in faith. Meanwhile, our money in the account's just dropping. We decided to rebuild the system. We knew that going over to Galileo was gonna give us some new technology.
And remember, Galileo introduced us to the former COO of Bancorp. Drew introduced us to Hippo Labs.
That did Robinhood.
And so anyways, these pieces just began to come together, which was very exciting. And so we went back out to raise money, and I saw tremendous success in doing that as you were putting back those pieces, and we decided, you know what, there's a couple things we don't like. We don't like proactive budget, but also we realized that the users wanted something much more than just a spending app. They wanted a full banking suite that allowed them to manage their money in full, with digital cash envelope being the base. And so we rebranded as Qube Money and came up with this concept of a full banking suite that combined the benefits or the value of many apps. And honestly, today I love that name.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. So Drew came up with that name. I remember sleeping on it, and the next day I think we all got together, and it was yes, 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 yes. All of us loved Qube.
Once we rebranded as Qube Money, it really has been a mission to develop a banking system that just by using it, financial freedom would occur. And that is the heartbeat of what we're doing.
And now we present to you Qube Money. It's live, ready to go. We're out of beta. Qube Money.